Welcome back to the Coaching Show. I'm Brian Stanley, joining you this week. And joining me this week is head coach David Schuster of your Mission Prep Royals. Coach, we're coming off the big week of Kairos. Your seniors have been out on retreat. The team is now back together, and we've been getting ready for this week's big matchup against Aptos. What is the team's energy like right now?
I think everyone's excited to get back at it. Practice cranks up, the intensity cranks up, and that's always a positive. And we got a great opponent. And I think that week off, that week of kind of deep reflection and all the powerful things that take place last week, it happens every year, and it really happened this year. So very excited about that. Those things all kind of carry over into kind of re-energized and good positive energy going into that next game. So we've typically always haven't won every single one of those games, but we've typically gone into that next game after Kairos and had at least great effort and great energy on the field, and certainly expect nothing less. So,
And Coach, I want to talk about the team and the changes that you've made early on this season. We started with a quarterback change from game 1 to game 2, switching to Thomas Glenn. Are we going to expect Thomas Glenn going forward? Or are we going to possibly see Drew Souza come back into the mix as needed, based on schemes of different teams, or do we have a solid quarterback with Thomas Glenn going forward?
I'll say we can do anything at any point, and we do have wrinkles and packages for everybody. And so, based on the needs of the team and the look that we need to present, there's still many things that are kind of out there. But I will say Thomas Glenn is the starting quarterback moving forward, and he's a young man that we feel great confidence in. He's really asserted control over the offense, and he's shown great ability to handle everything we need him to do. He's still growing. There's still a lot of things that he's improving at, and a lot of areas for him to improve in. But overall, he's shown great leadership, great confidence, great physical ability. He's a tremendous athlete, great arm, great runner, and for a number of other reasons, he really fits exactly what we need right now. And Drew has done a remarkable job for us. We're very proud of him. He's going to move over to tight end and fullback and play a little bit outside linebacker as well for us. So far, what we've seen, he played that at Bishop Diego, looked very athletic doing it. We expect him to do that again this week and give us a great effort. And everything that Drew Souza has shown and done and continues to do is we've got full confidence that Drew is going to be a game changer for us there on the perimeter. And so we're real excited with kind of where he's at. And Vinny Orlando's moving to receiver, and he's done great there as well. So, but there are still there's some wrinkles and some things in there where if we need it, we got it, and we got full confidence that whatever the team needs, those kids are going to deliver.
And Coach, to have a quarterback that's a sophomore that you're able to prep through their senior year and to demonstrate what you're looking for from them early on, to set that mindset early on, what does that mean for any coach to be able to do that with a sophomore, that in going 2 years forward that you're going to have a solid quarterback down the stretch, that you can just prepare the next one to fill the shoes?
Well, I'll say we've done that now 3 straight times. Starting with Mark Rodriguez, he took over as a sophomore, and then Colby White took over as a sophomore, and now Thomas Glenn taking over as a sophomore. So there's a lot of precedent for it. I will also say it takes a very specific type of kid to be able to do it, and generally you want the kid to kind of have a little bit of an alpha personality. You want them to kind of feel a little bit like they're the man and showcase that they're the man. And the team needs to feel, when that quarterback walks into the huddle, like, yeah, this is the guy. And not every kid feels that way. Not every kid has that personality, and that's not a bad thing. I want to be clear. Like, it's just kind of how each kid is. But to be that guy as a sophomore, you really kind of have to have that personality a little bit. And so Mark had that. Colby absolutely had that, and Thomas has it too. And then, in addition to the fact that you've got to be mentally tough enough to come to move past the mistakes that you will inevitably make as a sophomore. And you got to be coachable as a kid, where it's not like hey, I'm a sophomore. Like you quickly figure out, and Thomas did the Bishop Diego game is, man, these guys are big, they move fast, and I got to be everything coach is telling me, like I got to be on point with it. So they got to be coachable, they got to feel like they're the guy, and they got to physically and mentally be able to actually get the job done. So it takes a very specific kid, and we've been extremely fortunate. We've had 3 kids in a row that we felt could do that and displayed that at a high level for 3 years. And so, love Mark, love Colby, and Thomas is kind of that next in line there. So we're excited about it. I think Thomas can do some really special things. I think he's a high level player. He's obviously a deeply talented baseball player. I think he's got a high level, a high ceiling in football as well. So, but in terms of what he brings to the table for us this year, he certainly expands the offense, allows us to have some success, and we're very excited about where he's at.
I think it also takes a little grit for a sophomore to step up to play with juniors and seniors. A grit that comes rare with a sophomore, because when you take a lick from a senior's linebacker and you're able to stand right back up and step under center, that says a lot about you physically.
Yep. And I will say all 3 kids, Mark, Colby, and Thomas for sure, have displayed that and showcase on a daily basis in practice, and then certainly in the game, a mental and physical toughness that kind of carries through the game. So, yeah.
And coach, let's move on to Cal Poly this week, opening their season at Alex G. Spano Stadium, also at the home of your Mission Prep Royals, with the return to San Luis Obispo of Carlton Brown III. Carlton having a big debut in his return to San Luis Obispo with the Cal Poly Mustangs. The Mustangs winning 27-10 over the San Diego Toreros, with Carlton Brown finishing 2 catches, 98 yards, including an 87-yard reception, setting up a Cal Poly touchdown in the second quarter. Coach, talk about the big performance of Brown on his return to San Luis Obispo and his debut for Cal Poly.
Yeah, there have been so many. As soon as it happened, everyone was texting each other and going crazy, just absolutely elated and thrilled. I think there's a there's a how to explain this. A lot of people are just genuinely so happy for Carlton, and Carlton has had a crazy life. He's lived a crazy life. Had to overcome so many crazy obstacles in his life. And to see him go to Nevada, I think everyone was so extremely happy for him. And then for an opportunity to present itself where he was able to kind of come back home. And when he came back home, he was mentally tougher. He was physically tougher. He physically kind of expanded. He looks so athletic. He looks great. And he was always, he's always been a huge mismatch in football. He's an incredible athlete. And he's such an empathetic kid towards everybody he meets. He's a very kind-hearted young man, and genuinely cares for everybody he talks to. And so it's created a feeling for a lot of people of just genuinely wanting to see somebody do well. And at least for the Mission Prep community, it's been pretty fun watching that take place and watching everybody kind of rally around one of our alumni who just has a crazy story, and it's going to be a story that I'm excited when it's right for him. I'm excited for him to share it because I think it's powerful, and it will impact a lot of people. But it's also got to be on his timing. But I'll just say that this is kind of like that happy part of the story where you're just going like, yeah, it's working the way it's supposed to go, and to see him kind of put all the tools together there, great catch, great route, very physical. And he's doing so many things, and the crazy part about it is, as good as he is, he still has so much more he can grow and get to, and I think that's where a lot of people are very, very excited, at least from the Mission Prep community, and certainly from my standpoint. And I will also speak for Coach Terrence Harris. He and I both echo this together, where we just feel like the Cal Poly culture and the Cal Poly coaching staff and everything Coach Wolf does and the way he runs his program And the way those guys talk over there, just feels like that's going to be a coaching staff that really maximizes what Carlton can do and what he can be. And so I think that it's almost like, you know, Gary Brown entrusted Mission Prep with getting Carlton to that next step and raising him, and now we kind of feel the same way. It's like we're kind of entrusting the next step, the next group, to kind of keep going, keep building with Carlton, and it's exciting to see the local team be able to kind of take that step with them, and you know, they get a big win. You know, the quarterback looks great, the line looks, you know, very much improved, the defense looks drastically improved, and so to see Carlton be a part of it, and then also to see Colby White on the sideline be a part of it too. It's just um, been a very, very fun, I'd say, last 96 hours or so. So
Coach, I gotta say that I didn't see the game live. I did watch the replay. And even with the replay on Twitter, the caption already told me that it was an 87-yard catch. And I'm watching the replay, and I'm rooting for a touchdown. Because he's driving and he's driving and he's driving. And I know it's not a touchdown, but I'm still finding myself rooting for that touchdown because he's so close down to the 3-yard line. And it's just so heartbreaking that he gets down to the 3 when they bring him down, because that would have been an excellent 90-yard touchdown reception.
I know. I guess the good news is it's a long season, and Carlton certainly has proved to me for a long time that that kid can do some athletic things that very few people can do. And so I certainly have I have every expectation to believe that, or every reason to believe that Carlton's going to do some crazy athletic things and be a dominant force on the field. And I'm excited to celebrate his first touchdown when it happens. So
I am too. And for those curious, you can catch Carlton Brown this Saturday at San Jose State, my alma mater, playing the Spartans at 1 p.m. And if you can catch it on the NBC Sports Bay Area, if you have that, you can catch it there, or you can listen live through the Spartans app or the ESPN 1280 locally. So there we go there. And then, Coach, any words about the Cal Poly squad or Carlton Brown before we move on?
I will quickly say that on Saturday, if people get a chance, this will be one of the few opportunities that we ever get with Sonny Berkeley at San Jose State and Carlton Brown, and those two grew up best friends. And obviously, they both played basketball for Terrence. They played football for me. Both Mission Prep alum who've gone on and done amazing things, and they get to compete against each other. And so, especially with the friendship that those two have, and when they come back to SLO, they're always coming back to hang out. So it's going to be one that I think our whole community is pretty excited about to see. And anybody who's able to make that game, I would encourage you to go up. It's not a very far drive. You know, it's just San Jose, but it would be really cool to see both of them on the field compete against each other. So
it's actually really easy to get to. You take the 101 to the 280, you get off at 7th Street, you go down 7th Street south till you hit the stadium. Really easy to get to.
Brand new renovated stadium too.
Yeah, newly renovated. I am very impressed to the east side of the stadium, to what they did with it, with the football venue they added to the stadium to better impact the future of the football program there, with the training facilities, the education facilities, so on and so forth. And I feel ashamed, Coach. I want to say that real quick, that I forgot that Sonny Berkeley was up at San Jose State. Even for a split moment, I don't know how I forgot that connection. And yes, they will be competing against each other, because Sonny Berkeley has made the move to defense, playing defensive back for the San Jose State Spartans. So I did not completely forget about Sonny Berkeley. Just a temporary miss there. So, Coach, let's move on to the Aptos Mariners coming to town this Friday, Alex G. Spano Stadium. Kickoff scheduled for 7 p.m. on PSNtv on our YouTube channel, live from Mustang Memorial Field inside Alex G. Spano Stadium. They run the wing T offense, coached by legendary coach Randy Blankenship, over 300 career wins in high school as a head coach. Coach, this team comes in 0-2. They have a little limp to them on the scorebooks. and you have the favor of 1-1 with a 1-game win under your belt. Does that favor you right now?
No, because the teams that they've lost to are two of the most dominant. It's Oakdale who won a state championship just a couple years ago, and Oakdale's just an absolute powerhouse program up there in Northern California, and then Archbishop Mitty. And anybody who knows Catholic schools, Mitty's one of those names that comes up on a regular basis. And they've got a monster program as well. So, and they didn't lose either game by much. It was highly contested till the very end, and then usually one team added one extra touchdown at the end to kind of put it over. But the whole game was hotly contested. So, no, it's 0-2 against two of the best teams you could find. So, we're very much looking at this going. They are returning all 5 offensive linemen from last year. They returned most of their wingbacks from last year. Their quarterback is back, and Blankenship is talking about him like he's one of the best he's ever had. And considering Blankenship has won like 10 titles, that's a huge problem. And so, they're starting to do some wing stuff or some spread stuff with this quarterback because he can actually move the ball there in the air. And so they're a great program. They're so well coached by he's a Hall of Fame coach. And there's just so much for us to defend on and that when they race up to the ball, you got 2 seconds to figure out where's the tight end, where's the fullback, where's the wing, what are their plays that they're running, and you got to get everybody lined up correctly, and you got about 2 seconds to get it done. And so it's an absolute machine. It's so hard to prepare for, and it's even harder to deal with in game. It's why he's won all these games. It's just it's a hard offense to deal with. So we have our work cut out for us. I will say though, the focus from the kids, the preparation from the kids so far in 2 days, I've been deeply impressed with, and feel like we've put ourselves in a good position to be competitive. But these guys they're an absolute machine. And I will also say mentally and physically, this will probably be the toughest team to game plan and prepare for all year. And that makes me very happy if we're able to handle this even remotely successfully. I will say whether we win or lose this game, that will make me feel pretty good about dealing with everybody else the rest of the year. So, because this team is they might be the hardest team in California to prepare for. They're just, or certainly one of the top ones. They're a very, very difficult team to game plan and deal with and get your team prepared. So great respect for them. Excited to compete. I feel like we got a shot, and we'll see what happens.
Coach, you talk about Alex G. Spano Stadium and how loud it can be with everybody, with the way the stadium is built and the stadium being basically on top of the field. How will the noise benefit the Royals if we have a packed Royals house, disrupting their offense and their communication and not allowing them to generate plays with communicating properly?
I think the biggest thing would be you just make them uncomfortable, and if you're uncomfortable, then you start to get a little bit uncertain about the way you're doing things, and then as soon as you're uncertain, that gives us as a defense a chance to rally to the ball quicker, beat a man to the spot, and those things, those inches, make up a significant part of success in the game. And you look at any play where something big happens, usually it's something that was off by an inch or two. A linebacker didn't quite close the hole, or a D lineman just missed, or something where it's just it's the tiny little inches. The famous speech from Any Given Sunday. You add up all the inches, and that's how you get a win. And I think as soon as we make them uncomfortable, especially with the noise, you give us as a defense a chance to rally up. You certainly give the defense an emotional boost. And then offensively for us, if we can make that defense uncomfortable, it messes with their communication, their ability to communicate. And a defense that doesn't communicate well is a dead defense. So those are the areas where I think an energetic crowd, a pumped up crowd, a loud stadium really start to impact your team in a successful way.
Well, I say then our Royals fans need to pack the stadium this Friday night to be the 12th man on the field to disrupt the Aptos Mariners as they come to Cal Poly Alex G. Spano Stadium this Friday, 7 p.m. on PSNtv, live with myself, Brian Stanley, and Stephen Hodges. I almost referred to myself in just the third person, Coach. Coach, let's get to the X followings. Stanley on Sports for myself. PSNtv can be found at the Prep SN. Coach Schuster is Coach_D Schuster. And your football squad can be followed at MCP Football. Those are the 4 links. And Coach, next Wednesday will be the next coaches show, but Friday is the big game. Coach, any final words before we depart today?
Yeah, excited to see everybody at the stadium. Can't wait to get after it. And yeah, go Royals.
Go Royals. Let's go. This Friday, Alex G. Spano Stadium, 7 p.m. Be there. Let's pack that house. Help the Royals collect the win over the Mariners this year. We'll see you there.